Okay, we're looking at problem set 3A. So here's a situation where we're trying to simplify when we're already factored. So you can see we have some common factors here. X minus 9, you can cross out. When they divide, it becomes 1, so you don't have to write it. Also, 8/12. Pretty easy to reduce that. 8 over 12 is the same thing as 2 over 3. So we want to look to do that also. Nothing we can do about the x plus 2 or the x plus 1. So our final answer would look like this. Again, the 2/3 came from 8/12. The x minus 9s just cancel. All right, 7 through 12, we're trying to factor by finding a GCF. Or a GCF here is, you'll notice that 5 goes into everything here. Specifically, I can just copy the top if I wanted to, and then take a 5 out of the bottom, and also take at least one x and one y away from each term on the bottom. If I were to divide both these by 5xy, 10xy divided by 5xy, 10 divided by 5 is 2, x divided by x is 1, y divided by y is 1, 15 divided by 5 is 3, x squared divided by x is x, y divided by y is just 1. Okay, so I end up with this. And notice that now I can cross off these 5s. I can cross off the y's. I can cross off one of these x's. So I can take, instead of x squared, I can make it just plain x, and then that x will go away. Okay, so my answer is going to be x over 2 plus 3x. And one thing we have to be careful of is when we see a plus in between, then nothing can be taken from that entire term unless the whole thing goes. I can't cancel x with x here because this x is part of a larger term or a larger factor. That x stands alone. So only when things are separated by multiplication symbols, again, we've got that plus to connect all this, can you cross it out. So this is complete for that one. 13 through 18, we want to factor, just using common factor in here. So at this point, we should be able to factor these rather quickly. Factors of 20 that add to give you negative 12. That's going to be x minus 10 and x minus 2. Negative 10 times negative 2 is 20. Negative 10 plus negative 2 is negative 12. Factors of negative 30 that add to give you negative 7 would be negative 10 and positive 3. And pause and think about it if you need to. Like before, these 10s will cancel, leaving behind the x minus 2 and the x plus 3. So a couple things here as we write our answers. Number one, the parentheses are no longer necessary because the only purpose of them earlier was to show that I was multiplying this times this. Well, no longer are you multiplying, so we don't need the parentheses. Also, like before, I can't cancel these x's here because they're being added and subtracted. If it's part of a larger factor connected with pluses and minuses or minuses, you cannot cancel. So be careful there. So x minus 2 over x plus 3 for that one. Okay, 19 through 21. Again, I'm factoring, but I'm using both common factoring and GCF. So on top, again, what multiplies negative 7 but adds to give you negative 6? That's going to be x minus 7 and x plus 1. Negative 7 times 1 is negative 7. Negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6. On the bottom, I can just take out an 8. Okay, there is a multiplication here because that multiplication separates it. This 8 and this x minus 7, either or could cancel. On top, either the x minus 7 or the x plus 1. Okay, so here I can get rid of the x minus 7. Notice that even though there's a minus there, like the first problem, I can cancel it because I'm taking the whole piece, the whole factor. I couldn't just take the 7 or just take the x, but I can take the whole thing. And that leaves behind x plus 1 divided by 8. Again, like before, the parentheses not necessary on that x plus 1 anymore. Okay, 22 through 24. Okay, this is probably an honors level question. Harder factoring. We want to factor this, and it'll be factored by grouping that gets us that part. So I'll go to the side here. X to the third minus 5x squared plus 6x minus 30. Right? So I'm going to draw a line here. X to the third, and sorry, this pen is hard to write fine with. Okay, so some of it blurs. Take out my GCFs. Again, pause and think about it as needed. Okay, and then these x minus 5s are common to the two large terms. Allow me to write it this way. And there's a previous video that would explain that in more detail. And as always, ask if you have questions about that. But the top now becomes x minus 5 and x squared plus 6. Okay, I'm going to erase this. Again, pause, rewind if you need to. I'm going to factor the top. Okay, so if we have a trinomial with a leading coefficient that's not 1, you want to go ahead and multiply 3 and 10 to get a 30. Factors of 30 that add to give you negative 7, it's negative 17, excuse me, will be negative 15 and negative 2. Okay, so I can go 3x squared minus 15x or minus 2x. It doesn't matter right there which one you put first. I chose to put the negative 15 first, which is fine. I make it into a 4-termed polynomial. Then I pretty much do what I did in the previous. Take out a GCF and another GCF. Okay, I have to have a match, and I do. Again, pause, rewind as necessary. Ask questions. If you're not real sure, ask questions in class as to exactly what I did there, because it is expected at this point that you can do these basic factoring. All right, so these x minus 5s are going to cancel there. And that leaves behind x squared plus 6. Again, parentheses are not necessary. 3x minus 2. And again, be careful. 3x minus 2. Be careful here. I can't do anything else. I can't say 6 divided by 2 is 3 because this 6 is attached with a plus sign. This 2 is attached with a minus sign. I can't cross those x's out any which way because, again, they're attached with plus or minus signs. So you do need to be careful with that.